What is going on with all of my people of the planet? I am D Venom. Thank you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you guys for joining me in regard to Raising Vibrations podcast. I hope all of my people of the planet are staying on that straight and narrow and doing everything. Thank you so much. And doing everything possible to elude those psychic vampires, negative energies, including Podbean trolls and or scallywags from one's lives, including relapse. If we could elude all of those elements at all costs, we have done our own selves some justice and a huge favor. And with that being said, let's get into Raising Vibrations podcast. Sorry, you guys, my ear was itching. Anyway, I want to just go ahead and apologize for my absence. I've been on my other social media platforms, keeping them up to date in regard to, semi up to date. I haven't, quite told them the full story in regard to my absence in regard to those particular platforms either. I didn't just get off work. Oh my God, we have a lot to talk about. I just left a 12-step meeting and I should be at home getting, rest so that I can get up and, prepare for work tomorrow. But, Spirit told me to, come to this new park. I'm at a new park. I don't know the name of it. I won't give the streets and or the cross streets. I am going to withhold in regard to putting forth so much information in regard to like where I live and et cetera, where I work, blah, 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 blah. There's some crazy motherfuckers out there and people will try to sabotage, you and what you have going on and whatever else. I just know that after my last episode, which I will, get into momentarily, not the full story, but I will, I will give y'all snippets, in regard to, what occurred and go from there. Anyway, I saw this particular park on my way home from work, today. And I'm like, you know what? After your meeting tonight, you need to go to this particular part. Well, I wanted to go before my meeting, but I was waiting for Instagram to upload some content, and it took for fucking ever. And I did not want to mess anything up. I wanted that content uploaded on my Facebook platform and my Instagram platform. Now I have to turn around and upload that content on my YouTube platform. Anyway, 2:55 time of this recording, on the way home, and I seen this park on, a couple of occasions, but on the way home, I really, took a good glance at it. And I'm like, you know what? You need to separate yourself from those other parks or areas that you used to frequent and go somewhere else, go on a limb and try something else. And, after the meeting, I took it upon myself to, take a little joyride. And before going home, I came to this particular park and I'm here right now. And I'm in a nice little secluded spot. I'm not sure if anyone's around. Really don't care, but I'm in a nice little secluded spot. I am, away from everyone else. It's a little, semi-dark where I'm at, but you can see my microphone glowing, and you can see my phone sitting in my lap. It's all reflecting from the motherfucking mirrors, the mirrors to the car, or windows to the car. I'm sorry. Hold on, let me get something to drink. I'm going to get something to drink. But yes, I also want to thank my newest followers and those that dropped off the bandwagon. But those that have been long-term and, new to the platform, thank you guys very, very much. As you all know, this platform is about raising vibrations. And there are times when my there are times when my vibrations fall low and I need to, separate myself from everything. Social media, phone. I don't watch TV, radio. I don't give a damn what it is. I just need to sit in silence, meditate, rejuvenate, and just energize myself, because at the end of the day, I am a, huge empath, and I do take on a lot of energies, and I'm drained, I'm drained as fuck. So I need that time to preserve on my own motherfucking self. Fuck everybody else. I mean, excuse my French, but, hey, if I'm not right, I can't be right for others. So I need that, and I need that quiet time to hear what the spirit realm has to, say as well in regard to wisdom, guidance, and whatever else the case may be. And I can't hear what they have to tell me, if I have a lot of distraction and or voices around, I can't hear. So I need that time to, just be there for my own motherfucking self. Anyway, damn, I missed 5:33 by a minute. Anyway, you guys know that I was in, the middle of getting ready to transition from one apartment to the next. And, I moved out of my previous apartment. I believe it was at the end of September. No, it was the end of August, if I'm not mistaken, the end of September, if I'm not mistaken. No. Yeah, I'll figure it out. What I need to do is go through my old book bag. There was a moment, during my, phase of adversity when I was motel hopping, and I wouldn't have to motel hop had I not made the decision that I made when I was at the first motherfucking motel. And things occurred, when I emerged off the straight and narrow. I think it's fun in the beginning, and then towards the middle of things, I start pulling in those negative energies, because I'm releasing negative energies, and it's a downward fall from there. Anyway, like I said, I need to find an SD card. If I didn't say that, I'm saying it now. I switched SD cards while I was at the first motel, if I'm not mistaken. And, due to, a paranoia and some of everything else, I wanted to record, me debugging the motherfucking motel and all this type of shit. And I needed more space on my phone anyway, because the SD card that I had in previously, it was full, and some of the, images or whatever was corrupt and all of this type of shit due to the fact that it needed to be replaced. So, I replaced it, and it's somewhere in my backpack. I know that much. I went through some SD cards that I did locate, and, none of them were the one. One of them looked like it was, it could have been the one, but a lot of the pictures and stuff, 7:44 time of this recording, a lot of the pictures and stuff, didn't come through. So I'm not sure. Hopefully it's not, no more corrupt than what the fuck it was before I unmounted it and whatever. I did everything, correctly. And plus there's some, images and shit on that motherfucking SD card that, yes, I do. Yes, honey. I mean, ratchet moments. So I need to, get that motherfucking SD card. But anyway, aside from that, I'm going through a battle with my I'm not going to say previous landlord. He's actually cooperating in regard to me getting my deposit back. But the new individuals that own that bought the apartment or the building, they're giving me a difficult time in regard to giving me my motherfucking deposit back. They want pictures of the previous motherfucking carpet, blah 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 blah. And it's it's not a long story behind that, but it is. But anyway, after so much going through what I went through with my previous landlord, he actually came through, and or he actually is coming through. I went in there and I recorded myself making my last payment and all type of shit. I mean, it kind of went down. But anyway, after all that, he is showing a different side to him. And he's actually trying to help me get my deposit back. I don't, long story short, I've received an email after so much contact via text message and phone call to this new property management, which is Flamingo Realty LLC, if I'm not mistaken, here in Arizona. Yes, I'm putting their ass on blast. I received an email from my previous landlord before the building was sold, and there was some vital information on there in regard to the company and whatever else the case may be that I can reach out to as well. But as far as I know, it's Flamingo LLC, Flamingo Realty LLC. Anyway, you know, they've been, well, let me tell you, before I moved out, they were, you know, pretty much, I'm not going to say begging me to stay in that apartment, but, you know, they wanted me to stay there. And I had already told them that I'm moving out and I have a place, you know, to go to and whatever else. And, you know, they asked me on several of occasions if I would, you know, remain there. Hell no, I'm not remaining here. You know, for one, the energy's upstairs. Hold on. 10:10 time of this recording. Anyway, the energy's upstairs. You know, I'm not feeling it, I'm not feeling it, and it isn't feeling me. And it's just time to move on. You know, an empath or a chosen one knows when their time is due and it's time to move on. And in that particular case, it was just time to move on. Anyway, long story short, damn, you know, y'all know I got ADHD, so I forget where I'm going real quick. Hold on, let me get something to drink and it may come back to mind. Oh, long story short, before they can release my deposit, they want pictures of the carpet before I moved into the apartment. And here's where my previous landlord, you know, vouched for me and basically told them, after some years of living in that motherfucking unit, of course it's going to accumulate dirt and whatever else the case may be. And the carpet never been clean since I moved in. It probably never, who knows when that motherfucking carpet was clean. I just know that when I lived there, the motherfucking shit was never clean, and I never had any furniture in neither. You may as well say the living room and both motherfucking rooms, more or less the bathroom and the kitchen. You know, it's something about when I moved somewhere, I never completely unpack my shit, because you just never know what type of situation your motherfucking ass may be in to the point where you may need to jump bail. Okay. Hold on. 11:44 time of this recording. Just like with my current situation, I'm in my new apartment, and, you know, I moved in there with negative energies. I'll get into, you know, what I need to get into momentarily. But anyway, you know, it's not a bad apartment or whatever the case may be, but, you know, I know that I paid my portion of rent. Y'all know that I'm on a particular, you know, governmental program, you know, and it's still legit for right now, but who knows what to say, you know, with all this government bullshit and whatever else, political shit. But, anyway, I went to that particular, you know, portal, and I did everything that I was supposed to do. And I'm not sure if housing paid their portion yet, because sometimes housing can lax in regard to, you know, paying their half. But all of a sudden I come home and there's a, you know, notice, you know, pretty much in between the door, and I grab it, I go inside, I take a look at it, and it's a motherfucking 5-day notice. I'm just like, damn, you know, I just got out of a situation where I'm bouncing from motel to motel. I lived one day in my motherfucking car because I couldn't afford it anymore. And now I'm to the point where I can get somewhat, you know, stabilized. You know, once again, I moved into a situation where, you know, I have an upstairs neighbor. I don't know if they have big ass feet or what, but, you know, it just seemed like they, you know, stomp everywhere I'm at. And, you know, and they're showing me that, I don't know. I can't say that they're showing me that they're irritated, but it seems like that. And I understand I moved in there with bad energies, considering, you know, my merge off the straight and narrow. But, you know, it's just, I mean, they're somewhat calmed down now, but I don't want to deal with that motherfucking shit. You know what I'm saying? And I have plans for that. Anyway, hold on one sec. Oh, okay. Anyway, you know, it's 13:33 time of this recording. Ascended masters all day long giving me confirmation in regard to me standing in my power and expressing my truth. Well, half of my truth. On all of my motherfucking platforms. You know, anyway, I you know, was recording, I recorded one of my social media, videos at my new, apartment, but once again, the stomping and all of that shit upstairs and whatever. And, you know, at this particular point, I really don't feel comfortable there. You know, I still have to get adjusted to everything. And I know my new neighbors have to get adjusted to me as well. I've calmed down quite a bit, you know, living in this new environment. But anyway, 14:14 time of this recording. But anyway, things have uplifted in a fantastic motherfucking way since my merge off the straight and narrow. And while I'm at it, I'm going to take this opportunity to personally thank the universe for blessing me during my time of adversity, even though I went against God, the ancestors, the universe, whoever was on my side in a invisible aspect. I went against all of them, to team up once again with Satan. And, anyway, but during all of that, I did lose, a couple of things that were, of value to me. And that is because I decided to merge off of the straight and narrow. But anyway, I have been blessed and I can't complain, even though I fucked up. The universe has blessed me. And 1515 time of this recording, obviously universal confirmation that I'm on the right track in regard to a lot of different things. Anyway, let me go ahead and foreshadow some of the events that played out during my hiatus away from everything. Okay, now you guys know that I was supposed to move out of my previous apartment, which I've done. I did everything by protocol. All of my stuff was out. I cleaned the motherfucker up. All that. That's another reason why I need to find an SD card, because it has all that shit on there. Me cleaning up the apartment, me showing, just everything. I need that as proof, because I have board of realty involved. I have the motherfucking landlord tenant involved. I have housing involved. I'm not playing. I want my motherfucking deposit. Anyway, my apartment that I'm in right now, it wasn't quite yet completely renovated, which led me to live in the first motel that I stayed in, and that was the Roadway Inn in Old Scottsdale, Arizona. And that's where I fucked up at. I'm sorry, you guys, my microphone hit my headphones. Anyway, that's where I fucked up at. I had a 4-day weekend from my previous job, just to foreshadow. I'm no longer, working at I'm no longer employed at that particular place where I was an LSA and a driver for, individuals with intellectual challenges and or special needs. Long story, like I told y'all. Anyway, where was I at? Hold on one second. Hold on. Okay, the motels. So anyway, I had a 4-day weekend from that particular job, and everything was going good. I was over 130 something days. I think going on like 140 something days clean from methamphetamine. I haven't, fucked up in regard to the whole sexual aspect. I was still practicing semen retention. There was thoughts of perversion and shit like that. I'm one of you things. I'm human, but don't forget, I'm still spirit wrapped in matter, living a earthly experience. 1733 time of this recording. I'm still spirit wrapped in matter, living a earthly experience. So I'm here visiting this motherfucker. Anyway, so I made the decision, considering I had a 4-day weekend from work and I'm in a whole different environment where, I can allegedly get away with watching porn and, getting high and, sucking some dick and, playing with some, gooch and asshole and, just putting my tongue in between the split of the head. And I mean, just doing that raunchy ass bullshit that I do when I'm under the influence of the devil's drug. And, no one put a gun to my head and forced me to merge off the straight and narrow. 1822 time of this recording. I decided to merge off the straight and narrow, and that's what I did. And I don't know if I scored methamphetamine that particular night, but you guys know, based upon excuse me, you hold on, I'm going to get something to drink. You guys know, based upon the stories that I've shared with you all, when I'm under the influence of the devil's drug, I get ratchet in the motherfucker and things happen. So and I manifest very, very quickly. Plus, I'm a Scorpio, so I pulls it in real quick. If I want it that bad and my intent is real, I'm going to get it. And Satan knows what I want too. And Satan knows if I want a big dick. Satan knows if I want, some good ass drugs. Satan knows what type of scallywag I want. Satan knows all that shit, and he plays upon that. And I felt weak. And anyway, I think it was that day, the very first day I moved in that motherfucker, or it could have been later on that particular the following day. Either way it goes, I was reaching out for methamphetamine, and eventually I scored the shit, and I ended up partying in the room, for a while, and and plus the room, the roadway inn in old Scottsdale, Arizona, the roadway inn in old Scottsdale, Arizona is next to like a porn shop or something. 1955. It's where motherfucking alleged straight dudes pull in the parking lot, and they pull all the way to the motherfucking back so nobody won't notice. So nobody won't notice who their car is. Bitch, come on now. You in there looking at porn, getting your dick sucked by a man and some of every motherfucking thing else. We know what goes down in the motherfucking porn shops. So that's another reason why I fell, a victim to prey, because I was next to a porn shop, and, I was ready to score. I was ready to get it in. And I did get it in, until, paranoia kicked in and all that other motherfucking bullshit that comes with the territory of fucking with methamphetamine. Anyway, I had the room for, I think, seven days, and it came time for me to, depart. But during that window, I'm getting high, I'm getting paranoid, and, I'm thinking that motherfuckers is, I don't know, cause that room was a little suspect. And when I did use the motherfucking app to debug, the room on several of different occasions, it produced some shit. But, once again, this could all be played out in my head, because I'm fucking with the devil's drug, and if Satan is a mass manipulator, he's very good at his craft. So like I said, it came time for me to depart, and I was late getting out of the room. So, the dude, I can tell he was irritated based upon, voice, body language, just all that shit. So I'm rushing to get out of the room, and I had everything out. And the last thing were, the last two birds that I had, hold on, let me get into it. And anyway, as I'm rushing to get out of the room, I ended up grabbing the cage wrong, and I detached the cage from, the bottom portion of it, which, kept it all in place. And I'm just like, damn. So I'm struggling to try to put that together. And, this man, wants me out of the room, and I'm hurrying up and shit. And, I think the word is makeshift, put it together where it held enough for me to lift it up out of the wheel stand, carry it out to the car. And this is where shit fucked up. Now, I was squatting down to set the cage on the 22:20 time of this recording. I was squatting down to sit the cage down on the motherfucking ground. And as I'm squatting down, my legs were like a giraffe. When you picture a giraffe front legs and how they, kind of buckle when they're getting a drink of water or something. My legs were like that. And, I was struggling to, lift myself up and, straighten my balance or whatever. So before I knew it, I ended up falling backwards on my ass, and bird water and seeds and shit flew all over the place and on me. And, I'm struggling to put, the cage, together so that the birds won't get away. And before I knew it, y'all, this is what I get for making that impetuous decision. Before I knew it, Bullet ended up getting away, and they got away so quick. I mean, there was nothing I can do to capture, Bullet or Little Man. I think that's who was left. And all of a sudden, the other one got out, and they flew in the same direction. And someone heard the crash, of me falling in the cage and everything, and they came to my assistance. At that point, I was just devastated. I couldn't go on at that point. I was hyperventilating and crying and just some of everything else. 23:55 time of this recording, I was more crying at the fact that, I know damn good and well no one caught those birds. They were gone, and they're in the desert. And if no one, by the grace of God, caught those birds, they would have to fend for themselves in regard to water, food, and all that. Those birds did not survive. Who else is going to feed them and whatever else, aside from human hands? I hope by the grace of God they got caught, but it's hot in the desert, whatever else, and those birds are, they're gone. So, this is one reason why I did not mention my feathered friends in the beginning of my introduction, because I have no more feathered friends. You guys know the two before these two, got away. They died of, still causes that I don't even know. I still don't know what happened. But, the fact that the universe punished me in regard to my impetuous decisions with the last two birds, is, sorry, you guys, it's pretty fucked up. So I reached out to, I'm just now reaching out to people and whatever else. I was in solitude for a fairly long time, and it wasn't a unhealthy solitude moment. You guys know that I sit in solitude quite a bit, but it was healthy. Aside from the fact that, it was healthy to me, it was healthy. But anyway, so yeah, I went through that in regard to losing the birds. I spent over who knows how much, bouncing from motel to motel. I need to go through my receipts in regard to bank statement and all of that type of shit, just to get a general idea of, especially in a chronological order, when I was at the roadway. And from there I went to extended stay, I believe, and shit, I was geeking and tweaking, there, and I felt like they had cameras on me as well, and I pretty much ruined that stay. And from there I went to sleep in, and baby, I would never go to sleep in, never again in my whole entire life. I don't give a damn how desperate I am. Oh my God, it's so ghetto. You have to drive around to the back, and that's where everyone parks at. And you can't drive up to your door or anything. You just have to drive where everyone else parks. Then you get out of the motherfucking car, and then you go in. Everyone goes in one door, and then you walk in the halls, and you find your door, and but that was pretty much the last hotel or motel that I lived in, aside from sleeping in my car. And I found out that I was able to move into the place that I'm in right now. So yeah, but I like this place, but I don't like living in places where motherfuckers don't give you a chance to explain. Now, I'm not sure if they checked the portal and seen that I made my half of the rent, which has nothing to do with Section 8. If they're late on their payment, that's on them. Figure out what's going on with them. But at least get in contact with my motherfucking ass to see what's going on. 27 time of this recording. Did you make your payment? We haven't checked the portal yet, blah, 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 blah. I screenshot this and everything. Anyway, I don't like motherfuckers using scare tactics in order to, I guess, get me in shape and whatever the case may be, and pay rent on time and whatever. I pay rent on time. So, if y'all didn't check the portal, that's y'all problem. But to, use scare tactics, when I get home, I don't want to see a motherfucking 5-day notice on my damn door, because y'all are, I get it, y'all want y'all written, all that type of shit, but damn, at least check with me before putting the 5-day notice on my door to see what may have occurred. So this is what I don't like, and this is one reason why I don't get completely unpacked when I move into apartment settings or any of that motherfucking bullshit. I don't think that I would feel settled, and that's in my heart, unless I get a home, like a house, or I don't know what an ashram community, is like, but from what I've seen, I, think that I would enjoy something like that, because it's spaced out and motherfuckers, they have space, just put it that way. Not to get off topic, but there are a handful of motherfuckers in this world that get me on a spiritual level. You know, my ex co-worker where I used to work at I don't want to say the name, but you know, that place, they get me because they're fighting their own demons too, and we can talk about stuff very openly in regard to you know, the sexual stuff that we've been through, you know, back then, now, and whatever else the case may be, our walk with God. And I mean, we could just talk about a lot of stuff openly, and you know, I you know, anyway, in regard to the previous job, I'm trying to see if I'm still explaining things in a chronological order. So after the motels or whatever the case may be, you know, I was, you know, semi-settled in the new place. I was still, you know, in between living in the motels or whatever. I was still employed at, you know, One Step. Things were, I just said it, One Step, it don't matter. But anyway, I was still employed there, and you know, things were going good. Now I haven't been real in regard to my social media platforms. You know, I haven't told them, because some of my ex co-workers follow me on the, you know, at least Facebook and Instagram, which I don't care if they know the real truth in regard to, well, for one, don't think that you know my motherfucking life like that. You know, I was going through some times of adversity, or, you know, a huge period of adversity, and I didn't want to display that at work, but in some factors it showed. And you know, and you just don't know what a person is going through, and then you have motherfuckers that want to cross boundaries with you, and that's what happened at, you know, my previous job. You know, I will say that addiction did play a part in, you know, some things. You know, I was actively using when I was working at this job. I don't know if I drove under the influence, but I was, you know, using, so I probably did, you know, drive under the influence a couple of times, and you know, that's my fault. But anyway, the thing that the last straw, I guess you could say, with that particular job was when I was told to work in the kitchen area. And I don't want to give too much, but you know, someone of a transgendered background pretty much has authority over the kitchen. You know, from my understanding, they came with their own plan for the kitchen and whatever else, you know, culinary, just put it that way. And I guess the job accepted it, and so they have reign over the kitchen. But anyway, you know, I'm not sure if this person was ever homeless or whatever, but you know, my situation kind of reminds me of Kelly Price's situation. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with Kelly Price, but she's an R&B singer, and I don't know her full story, but I do know, based upon what she shared, courtesy of R&B Divas, she, you know, was homeless a couple of times in her life, and this is why she works so hard in the industry, and people, you know, get a little upset with her because, you know, she misses, you know, certain activities or whatever, because she, you know, she's here, there, and just working. She vowed to herself, and I believe her family or whatever, that they would never go homeless again, and this is why she works so extra hard. And you know, I mean, shit, I was homeless in motherfucking Arizona, living in Cass homeless shelter. I never want to go through that again. So I made sure at all motherfucking costs, I hadn't moved in my apartment yet, because I was, I was still calling in regard to housing and my new place of my new nesting quarters to see what was going on, because my paperwork still needed to be filled out in regard to the new place I'm at and housing, and I mean, a handful of things needed to be taken care of before I could officially move into the place. So, you know, yes, I made sure at all costs, you know, the ends were tied, and I could stop, you know, living in these motherfucking motels. I mean, I'm broke at this point. I don't think no one at the job, aside from my checks, but I don't think no one at the job is going to house my motherfucking ass and my birds and whatever the case may be. So yes, I'm making sure at all motherfucking costs that my life livelihood is taken care of, and then I can worry about everything else. I do understand that the members are important. I understand that. They have, certain disabilities and ailments or whatever where they need, undivided attention and all that shit. Now, the thing is, we cooked the motherfucking lunches for the individuals that bought the damn lunches. And, everything was, plated and all that type of shit. So it was time for the individual that I had words with to go deliver the lunches. A handful of the members went with this motherfucker, and I stayed behind, with the other, personnel and a few other members. I took it upon myself while this motherfucker was going delivering the lunches to see what was going on with my livelihood. And, I didn't finish in time. At this point, I think I was on, a phone call with one of the organizations, waiting for information in regard to what the fuck is going on. At this particular point, this motherfucker comes back in with the members, and they start addressing me about being on the phone. And instead of coming to me, and lately a lot of motherfuckers want to come at me. I cussed out my motherfucking co-worker today at my new place of employment. I'm sick of motherfuckers coming at me instead of to me. You would get a better motherfucking result from me if you come to me and not at me. But anyway, the individual came at me talking about some can you take that I'm paraphrasing, can you take that call outside, blah blah blah. I mean, I gave you a 15-minute break, which they did, and little do they know, I took that 15-minute break to take the time out to call the same motherfucking organization that I was trying to get in contact with when that motherfucker walked into the room. I did all that. But anyway, can you take that phone call outside? Blah, blah, I gave you a 15-minute break, blah, 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 blah. I mean, something about the members, being there for the members and all this type of shit. And then, not only was the language glib, but the body language, that was also, the thing that cooked my cake was that little fake phony ass motherfucking smile. It was a quick smile. Y'all know how bitches do, like them sarcastic ass bitches want to give you a quick smile, like please and thanks type shit. And so that's what they did. And the fact that you coming at me like I'm inadequate, like I can't read between the lines, or like I'm your broad, or like I'm one of your children, or just anything like that. The fact that you are not treating me like I want to be treated flew me off the motherfucking handle, and I came unglued, and I cussed that motherfucker out. And it turned to the point where I left out of the motherfucking kitchen because I was going to, it was going to go down. So I left out of that motherfucker, and I continued making my phone calls and doing what I was doing in regard to my livelihood. So a couple of supervisors, excuse me, hold on one second. Let me wet my palate. At this point, a couple of supervisors pulled up from getting lunch, and I was snapping out in regard to my livelihood. And, the main supervisor that I dealt with asked me, what is going on. So I explained to them what's going on, and I told them I no longer want to work with this transgendered motherfucker in the kitchen no more. And I explained why, to a degree. And then I went inside to take care of a couple of things, and I told, another supervisor, that was already in the building, sitting in the classroom, the same motherfucker thing I told the other supervisor. I no longer want to work with this motherfucker in the kitchen no more. I semi-explained why, and they called me in to a room, and it was just myself and the two supervisors. They called themselves vouching for me when I explained to them how this motherfucker came at me in a glib fashion, with the body language included, and that little fake ass sinister ass smile. And they also included themselves in regard to saying some shit about this motherfucker. Oh yeah, we seen them, do stuff like that before, and blah 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 blah. And child, they was vouching. And anyway, long story short, the director, oh my God, I don't even want to go there in regard to the director and another motherfucker there that teaches these individuals how to dance. Now, I'm not going to give away too much. I did not find this information, but while they firing motherfuckers and doing whatever else at this particular, baby, I'm just gonna say it goes down at that particular job. And thank God I did get removed when I got removed, because it's demonic. How can I say this? There are sexual things that goes down. I will say that some 48 time of this recording, someone that previously worked there, they ended up quitting while I was still there, wrote a long email in regard to some shit. I didn't see the email, but it was sure told to me. And this person disclosed a whole bunch of information in regard to swinging and some everything else, which prompted someone else to do some investigating. And when they did this investigating, they dug up 2 females that were doing bondage and some of every motherfucking thing else. And when I seen the footage, it was definitely them. And so y'all want to talk or fire a motherfucker for pretty much teaching a bitch how they want to be treated. Now, I bite my tongue in a lot of motherfucking scenarios, and I never say any motherfucking thing. Now, the fact that I flipped the script and I stood up for myself and told this motherfucker or taught this bitch how I wanted to be treated, now all of a sudden I'm fired. But if I would have kept my mouth shut and had this motherfucker, just talk to me any type of way, that would have been cool. I don't understand that. So, no, I'm not tolerating that shit anymore. That's why I went out the handle on my new co-worker. No, you're not going to talk to me any type of way. I wasn't birthed from your wife's coochie or your ex-girlfriend's coochie. No, I came from a caramel coochie. So let's keep let that be the reason. But anyway, so so I'm no longer there, and I semi-stressed. I knew that even through my mistakes and making that bad decision, the universe was going to have my back, and the universe did. I went on Indeed and Zip Recruiter and who knows whatever else, and I looked up a couple of things, and I was still geeking and tweaking at that time, looking for a motherfucking job. And 40:55 time of this recording, and I ended up getting some information about being a paraprofessional, and I looked more into it, and they had not to give too much away, but they had positions in the classroom, and they had positions of driving. I took the driving position, which is split shift, good for me. I can go in the morning, pick these individuals up, drop their asses off at school, clock out after they get there, go home and take care of a couple of things, and do whatever else. I have a little bit of control, and I have some freedom, and I'm making a little bit more because this is 5 days out of the week, and at the previous place of employment I was only working 3 days out of the week. I lucked up, and I guess my previous place of employment thought they were doing something because we had to write an incident report, and I was a little late getting my incident report in, but I was taking care of my livelihood. I got it in when I got it in. Anyway, they had to review everything, and I kind of figured I was going to get the can. I really wasn't tripping, but anyway, they had to review everything, and about a week or so later, I get a phone call from someone, and they were like, pretty much they made the decision to let me go. I mean, I don't give a fuck, fuck y'all, fuck. I mean, the only downfall is the fact that a lot of the members that I became accustomed to also became accustomed to me, and I was building good relationships with them. And I can still go out, for coffee and pizza with some of them, because they follow me on Instagram and whatever else the case may be. What happened between myself and that motherfucking coworker has nothing to do with them. So I still have established relationships with some of them motherfuckers. But, aside from that, y'all, 42:55 time of this recording, aside from that, y'all didn't stop anything. And I told them motherfuckers before, they sent me home for the rest of the day. I'm universally guided. I'm universally favored, and I get what I want. And as long as I stay within alignment with the motherfucking universe, stay positive, whatever else the case may be, I guess what the fuck I want. And, I landed this particular job. Thank God they didn't drug test because, that would have fucked everything up. So, they didn't drug test or anything like that. And, I went to the interview with confidence and, I landed the motherfucking position and I'm there currently. So, like I said, y'all didn't stop any motherfucking thing, by, removing me, from, y'all, little demonic ass motherfucking, y'all think that somebody gonna conform to that bullshit, that y'all be having going on behind closed doors. No, I'm sorry, and then I spoke to, a coworker of mine that, was working there and come to find out, they ended up leaving. I'm not going to disclose 4414 time of this recording. I'm not going to disclose why they departed ways, from that particular company, 4420 time of this recording. But, they told me that they ended up leaving and a couple of other people that work there are planning on leaving. And let me just say this. I'm not trying to discourage anyone from, filling out an application and working for, either location, here in the valley. Y'all may benefit from it a lot more than what I did. It's not a bad organization to work for. They just need, the thing that I like about my new place of employment, every motherfucking Friday is a mandatory meeting with every motherfucking body, all staff, all teachers, everybody. If the kids were, if the kids could be included, they motherfucking asses would be there. But, everybody is included. And I was at one of the meetings last Friday and, I had a chance to speak and, they value your opinion and come to find out a little something that not only I was concerned about, but some of the other drivers were concerned about is, coming into fruition. They at least take the time out to listen to the employees' input, because they know that the formula is I'm not going to say fucked up, but they know that they're learning along the way, just like all of us are learning along the way. And, if you don't have, how can I say it? If you don't have the ideas that another motherfucker may have, that is okay. It doesn't mean like you were slipping and, damn, I'm about to lose money because this motherfucker had the idea before it has nothing to do with that. It just means that another motherfucker just has a whole different mindset than you do. And, they thought about it before your ass did. And, now you can use what this person learned or, knows or whatever and incorporate it into the motherfucking business. So I enjoy that. But with the previous place of employment, they didn't want to hear shit. They didn't want to hear from the motherfucking employees, more or less the motherfucking staff. Shit, if staff put their input in on something, the motherfuckers didn't want to hear that shit. Well, yes, they did. They wanted to hear selective motherfuckers that work there. They would hear from them. But 46 time of this recording. But anyway. It's a cookie that's ready to motherfucking crumble. That's all I can say. And I'm glad I'm away from it. Because, yeah, baby, I don't want to say too much, but honey, anyway, let me move on. So those are some of the events that have transpired since my hiatus away from the microphone. And once again, I do apologize, but I shouldn't, because this is a time, or that was a time of adversity that I had to face. And, oh my God. And then when I was geeking and tweaking and whatever the case may be, I picked up a few motherfucking scallywags. Y'all know they weren't far behind. Y'all already know when I relapse, honey, the scallywags are, far behind. What I need to do, what I should have did, because I don't plan on doing this no more. And if I do, I'll get back on the motherfucking bandwagon and make it happen again. But anyway, what I should have done, is keep my ass in the motherfucking house, even though I will get paranoid in that motherfucker. I won't be out riding around. Let me tell y'all something. I picked up about two I picked up about 2 or 3 motherfucking scallywags on different occasions. Now y'all know me, I'm good for picking them up. I don't give a fuck if it's the same motherfucking occasion, bitch. I will pick some dicks up. But anyway, I picked up a couple of scallywags on different occasions, and by me relapsing and falling off the straight and narrow, I already know exactly what's going to happen. I'm going to release negative energies, which the universe is going to respond in return, and she's going to deliver negative energies in return. And with all the scallywags that I picked up on several occasions, I'm riding around, and mind y'all, I'm so motherfucking high, and the only thing I'm worried about is dick head split, the rim of the head, between the balls and the asshole, the gooch area. I'm playing with all type of motherfucking dick, bitch, and I'm riding around in all the same neighborhood over and over and over again, trying to escape what I felt. And I know it ain't what I felt, is what the fuck I seen, and yeah, it is what I felt. Every motherfucking corner that I turned, there was a car up on my motherfucking ass. I promise y'all, this is because of the energies that I was releasing into the universe. Everything that I did not want to happen, the universe made that shit happen. And I could not suck dick. I could not do anything without a motherfucker on my ass. And then it seemed like cell phones was another topic of topic of conversation, or another thing that was included with all this bullshit. It seemed like every motherfucking where I went, there was a cell phone in my face, or a motherfucker, I would pass them, and then they would get on the cell phone, and they would be laughing and all type of shit, and it seemed like they would be telling the next motherfucker, oh, they coming down the street, blah 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 blah. That's what I mean. And I know that this usually does not occur unless I'm under the influence. But, something wasn't right about that. And then 2 of the scallywags that I don't know how many scallywags I picked up, but one of them had a backpack. And I know that I was riding around probably, looking crazy than a motherfucker, trying to find somewhere to play with dick and shit. But I went to a Circle K gas station to get gas, and they got out the car and they said something about they had to go do something, they'd be right back. And I didn't see them anymore. And I'm just like, wait a minute, this is some weird ass shit, because what scallywag will leave their last possessions in somebody's car or wherever the fuck? I don't give a fuck where they're at. What scallywag is going to leave their last bit of possessions and not come back for it? So I'm not sure what happened with that, but street lights was brightening up. Some of every motherfucking thing was going on, but that was weird. So after I, came back to that, after coming and going back to that Circle K to see where the scallywag went, I was just like, fuck it. I thought that in my head, this motherfucker had something in his backpack or whatever the case may be, and setting me up. So I ended up going through the backpack as I'm driving, and I'm throwing out blankets, clothes, motherfucking railroad nails. I don't give a fuck. I'm throwing that shit out the window. And then I came across this mirror, and it looks like your ordinary mirror, but then, as I'm driving, I have the mirror, the mirror portion, facing the roof of my car, and as I'm driving, the street lights is reflecting on this mirror, and it's almost like, I don't want to say you can see through, but and then mind y'all, while I'm driving, trying to find a place to smoke meth and play with dick and shit, cars was up on my ass with they motherfucking brights, and it's just like, why do these people, first of all, how the fuck do you know where I'm going, and second of all, why is you up on my ass with your motherfucking brights on? And then when I took that mirror out of the car, and I, as I'm riding, something just was not right. And then with the other scallywag, what happened? Oh, baby, I ended up pulling out screwdrivers on that motherfucking ass because I was about to stab him. It's a long story. I'm giving y'all too much because I want to tell y'all this stuff in chronological order. I'm telling y'all more than what I've told my other social media platforms. But just to wrap this up real quick. Now, anytime that anytime that I'm under the influence of the devil's drug, especially when I party with individuals that are of another nationality, it seems like they always try to use glib talk and underhanded bullshit to express how they really feel about me or my people. And I'm not stupid. I am a empath. I'm very highly sensitive to motherfucking energies, and energies don't lie. Now, I'm not going to say what type of empath I am. I could be Heyoka, I could be super. I do know that Heyoka empaths are a lot more powerful than super empaths, and I'm just going to put it out there. I'm Heyoka, bitch, because from what I researched in regard to these empaths, they go through the motherfucking ringer before they are shaped into that particular empath that God wants them to be. And considering everything that the motherfucking Heyoka empath goes through in order to become that particular light to the world, I know that I'm claiming it. Bottom line, anyway. So yeah, where was I at with y'all motherfuckers? Oh my God. Like I said, I just have so much to tell y'all. Where the fuck was I at? Y'all know I'm so ADHD, I will merge off track real motherfucking quick. But anyway, that's pretty much a great majority of what, pretty much, occurred, during that damn window. I will, hold on one second. I'm going to grab something to drink and try to get myself back on track in regard to where I was at real quick. And I am so proud of myself. Hold on one second. Even though I didn't take my motherfucking even though I didn't take my medication today, I do feel like this increase in regard to my ADHD medication is working. I feel like the medication, which is supposed to do, is slow down my brain thinking capacity. Anyone with ADHD knows that, your brain is overloaded with thoughts and whatever else the case may be. So the increase from 150 milligrams to 350, I do believe, has done a lot in regard to slowing my brain down and giving me the chance to think about shit before I eject it from my mouth. And, I do believe that it's doing some justice. And I don't feel like I can't get behind the microphone or the camera and or microphone when I'm on my other social media platforms and produce the diction that I want to produce from my motherfucking mouth without my ADHD mind taking control and doing what the fuck it wants to do. So I'm happy moving forward. But anyway, I don't know where the fuck I was at before I merged off track. But I will say, considering the universe of 5611 time of this recording, I will say that the universe has blessed me in a huge way. Now, you guys know that I was a part of 5622 time of this recording. You guys know that I was a part of VoyagePhoenix.com online magazine due to my story, my podcast, etc., etc. I had the opportunity to be interviewed by Bold Journey magazine. I fucked that up because I was relapsing and sucking dick and doing all that shit. But anyway, I reached out to Bold Journey magazine and come to find out, I'm going to call her my girl, but Shireen Crutchfield, one of the lead singers, actress, model, but anyway, one of the lead singers from the group The Good Girls, she landed a cover on the a cover and a motherfucking spread or spreads in regard to Bold Journey magazine. So not that Phoenix VoyagePhoenix.com magazine don't have a handful of celebrities in it, but I really fucked my opportunity up with Bold Journey, because if they have Shireen motherfucking Crutchfield on there, she was on Young and the Restless and all type of shit. But if they have her on there, it's just like, damn, what the fuck? So I'm trying to get back in their good grace and see if they will interview me again. But hold up. My other podcasting platform where I get paid for interviews, I'm still getting individuals reaching out to me for interviews, and I screenshot some of the I screenshot some of the individuals that reached out to me for interviews because they shared some wonderful words with me in regard to my podcast and the fact that my podcast is raw. Now, let me tell y'all something. Someone in my life, y'all think I'm raw. This is the female. They keeps it real in regard to all type of shit, sex wise and everything. So, just when y'all think that I'm raw and real, no, this person is beyond raw and real, and I do want to interview them. But, we all have things going on. So, maybe in due time I will be able to interview them. But no, these people kept it real with me in regard to my podcast being raw and real and whatever. And one person said that my podcast was the rawest and realest. I'm paraphrasing. I'm not going to say pretty much out there, but there are not a lot of people, especially African American or American African or whatever. Shit. I was born in this motherfucker, not in Africa, bitch. But anyway, a lot of people, they're not centered around our niche, which is addiction and recovery. And speaking of niche, I am still working on the t-shirts or the merch. I had to put a lot of shit on pause because of that, hiatus. I mean, shit. The last thing I was worried about was working on motherfucking merchandise and shit. Bitch, I want a dick and porn and meth. So, that's the last thing I was worried about was, working on my merch and whatever the case may be. So I had to reunite with Miss Mo, make sure that we were still on the same page in regard to moving forward with our partnership, or collaboration. And I reached out to now 55:44 time of this recording. Now, you guys know that I told you I have a good friend that has, their own nail shop. Just to, pop my own collar. I named the shop. Not that, any of that matters. 59:59 time of this recording. And I promise you guys, I'm looking, to and fro, not paying attention to the time of the recordings, and it's angelic time. What the fuck more can I say? I told y'all on several of occasions I'm divinely favored. Bitch, I'm spirit wrapped in matter, living a earthly experience. I told y'all on several of motherfucking occasions I'm here visiting this motherfucker to help out and spread light to the motherfuckers that need it, and a lot of motherfuckers need this light because the inner child vibrations of the motherfucking universe are they're lowering. Anyway, damn, there was something else I was going to tell y'all while I was in the middle of saying that shit. Maybe I need to just, I'm already at 1 hour and some change, and I need to get home and meditate. If that can happen, because y'all know I'm ADHD, but try and meditate and, go from there. But anyway, oh my God, there's so much to tell. When I was geeking and tweaking, I went to a 12-step meeting Saturday, and this is when I felt like the world was against me. Anyway, it was a small group at this meeting, and I promise you, when you are living life in a spiritual aspect, see, a lot of motherfuckers in this world live life worldly. Because they are worldly and they navigate the world using the set of eyes that they were born with. When you are chosen, when you have the letter M's on your palms, when you have the crescent moon on your thumbnails, and when you are that motherfucking chosen bitch, you live a whole different life. And a lot of people don't understand that. It's not for me to explain. Figure out who the fuck you are and then go from there. But I know that I'm chosen in a lot of different ways, and I live totally different from a lot of different people. I just frequent on a whole different motherfucking vibration than most bitches. And a lot of people don't like that. I can go into a room and I say nothing to no bitch. And all of a sudden I got people not liking me. They want to fight me. They want to, they want to challenge me. I don't say shit, but it's the aura, it's the energy, it's the light, it's the spirit that obsessed these motherfuckers demons. I promise you. But anyway, when you navigate the world using your spiritual eyes or your third eye, you see a lot of shit that you don't want to motherfucking see that will literally scare your motherfucking ass. And I'm so thankful now that I'm back in alignment with the universe, that the universe is placing those like-minded individuals or those same chosen ones or similar chosen ones in my path. You know, just like my ex-coworker, we can talk spiritual stuff all day, and I love that. I get sick and tired of meaningless conversations because it don't do shit for me. But talking spiritual, yes, it does a lot for me. These individuals that are chosen, that, you know, are open about speaking of, you know, in regard to, you know, it's just hard to navigate in a world where, you know, a lot of people are asleep. Just put it that way. And when you try to wake them up to the shit that we chosen ones see, oh, we crazy, blah, 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 we thinking too much, bitch, fuck you. We are right on track. Y'all crazy because y'all don't see shit. You know, y'all still sleep, and y'all choose to be sleep because y'all choose to be worldly. Y'all choose to be distracted. Don't get me wrong. I'm easily distracted when, you know, some good dick come along, and, you know, but yeah, but, you know, I just know that I have to separate myself from all this shit if I'm going to stay on the straight and narrow. And if I'm going to reach enlightenment, enlightenment is taming the ego, bitch. I have y'all think Beyonce had a huge ego. Fuck that bitch. I have a huge ego. My ego want to smoke weed, suck dick, pick up scallywags, smoke meth. My ego wants to do all that shit. Okay, bitch. But I have to control my ego, and I have to be able to merge my ego with my higher self if I'm going to reach nirvana or enlightenment. And that's going to be a hard task for me, baby, to merge my ego with my higher self so that I can reach nirvana. Do you know how much that's going to, baby, that's going to be a fight. But I'm willing to fight with I'm not going to fight my ego. I'm going to work with this motherfucker, and we are going to merge with my higher self and give my soul what it wants, because my ego has gotten what it wants for a long time. Now it is time to nourish the soul. And that's where I'm at right now. You know, even with that last motherfucking relapse, I'm not going to allow my addiction to define me. As I told you guys before, I'm going to allow this motherfucking shit to refine me. And now I'm to the point where, I've been getting refined. I can't speak about any other bitch, but, you know, I'm preserved for a greater cause. And if I can stay on the straight and narrow and continue to work on myself so that I can be that vessel for other people, you know, so that they won't, you know, walk the same path, or, you know, y'all know what I'm talking about. That, you know, that's what I'm here for. That's what I'm created for. Bitch, I'm spiritually contracted. I can't speak about nobody else. You know, I am spiritually contracted. I don't have time to play with people and be in motherfuckers' faces and all this type of shit. I have spiritual duties to take care of. I don't have time. This is why I live in solitude. I have to be able to hear what the spirits have to say to me, God, and whatever else. I don't have time to be in people's faces. I am spiritually contracted I have a purpose. So I have to make that happen. But anyway, I've been with y'all for an hour, and I feel good. And, you know, the fact that I got a lot of this off my chest in meetings and, you know, with my friends or whatever, you know, I keep making it seem like I don't have a support system, and I do. I just have a little bit too much pride in order to reach out to that support system. But I'm going to start doing that now when I start falling prey or getting weak, or, you know, see some man flesh, then, I want to slide me knob. I have to call somebody and be like, look, bitch, I want to slide me knob and do things that I don't want. I don't need to be doing, bitch. I need your help. And, you know, I know that I need to, you know, continue reading the big book, find a sponsor and all that shit. Right now I'm in between meetings. I'm still going to the main one, but I need to find my place. I like the meetings that I go to, but it can be a little childish, and I don't have time for, I hate to say it because, you know, I made some 3D conscious minded decisions my own damn self, but I honestly don't have time to fuck around with 3D conscious minded individuals that lower my vibrations. I don't have time for that shit. So, and a lot of these motherfuckers do at this particular meeting, you know, so I just want more sophistication in my life moving forward. But anyway, I want to thank each and every last one of you guys for listening, downloading, and just interacting with me, and interacting with me during times of adversity and or the non. I am heard, all across the world, and I honestly appreciate each and every last one of you guys. I check my statistics on a intermittent basis, and I do know that I need to get a little bit more active on the platform. But motherfuckers move on real quick, so I do know that I need to be a little bit more active on the platform. But I thank you guys for understanding that I had to step away in order to take care of shit, and I'm back in this motherfucker. But anyway, thank you guys so much. I really do appreciate you all. I'm still at a level 2, which is fine. I will get up to a level 3 sometime soon. Thank you guys for the 5,000 and who knows how many motherfucking hearts when I go live. I thank you guys. That means 5,000 and some motherfucking individuals in this world like my platform. And, and I will admit, when I went live the last couple of times, I was talking gibberish. I was high, bitch. I mean, what? I mean, I came on there because I was just, I was insecure about a lot of different things. So I felt like getting on the platform and expounding that high truth, I guess you could say. Anyway, I just needed someone to talk to. And I got on the platform at the wrong motherfucking time because I really didn't have nothing to say because I was too motherfucking high. But anyway, now that I am who knows how many motherfucking days clean and, just living that sober life, I can come to you guys and expound my truth. It's the power of storytelling that can save another motherfucker out there. Do y'all know how many motherfucking addicts that are in this world that are struggling in silence, bitch? They need us, to help them. So it's the power of storytelling that, that's so universal that can help any motherfucking body going through any motherfucking thing. It doesn't have to be addiction. Somebody right now is peeping behind the bush, is slobbing me now. That bitch has a sex addiction. There's plenty of motherfuckers that have sex addiction that I know. And some go to Sex Anonymous and some don't. But, there's all type of motherfuckers that are seeking help, advice, or whatever else the case may be for what they are going through. And if I can continue to be that vessel for, on behalf of God and for those individuals that need to hear my story and whatever else the case may be, then that's what I'm going to be. And this is why I've been discovered by certain magazines, and I keep on getting discovered in whatever else, as long as I stay in alignment with that universe. Place the secret, utilize the secret. They didn't make that motherfucking documentary for nothing. Oprah didn't foreshadow that book for nothing, bitch. The secret has secrets in that motherfucker. And if you can utilize it to your advantage, you can get what you want from the universe. I'm halfway there, bitch. Halfway there. Birthday is at the end of this motherfucking month. Full blown Scorpio, bitch. And, I plan on doing some things for my birthday. I may upload some I need to do some things in the community section. I do understand I'm lax in regard to uploading stuff for you guys, but I have plans for my birthday. It's my month. It's the month of the Scorpio. Well, fuck the month. It's the year of the Scorpio. Scorpios are coming up. We're that phoenix rising from the ashes, bitch. We are water signs. We go through a lot of motherfucking shit. We cry a lot. Boo-hoo, whatever else the case may be. We ain't doing no motherfucking crying, bitch. We moving forward. We're strong. Our stingers are filled with venom, ready to sting bitches and watch them disintegrate in front of our motherfucking eyes. We ready. We ready. We got past, I think, the eclipse. So I think the planets are aligned with each other, because when they're not aligned with each other, all type of shit goes wrong. People energies are off and all type of shit. So I believe we're back in alignment, and things they're going beautiful for me. I can't speak for anybody else. Let me tell y'all this before 11:14. I missed 11:11. I 1:11:19. Well, anyway, I missed the time by a couple of minutes. Anyway, I went to Jack in the Box. I think it was the day before yesterday. And I thought I was going to use my EBT card to pay for my motherfucking meal, but for some reason it didn't go through. I know that one Jack in the Box in this motherfucker, I used my EBT card and I got some food. But anyway, that's not the point. I bought a large fry and 3 motherfucking egg rolls. That's all I bought. And the price came up to $11.11. this lets me know that I'm in alignment with the universe. When I fall out of alignment, I don't get I do receive synchronicities, but not like I do when I'm in alignment. So I do believe that 933 angel number appeared before the 1111. Either way it goes, both angel numbers appeared. I sat in the parking lot of Jack in the Box and I was fucking up them fries and them egg rolls. And all of a sudden, I'm not paying attention to the time of the recording, and I'm looking around, and every time not every time, but a great majority of the time that I checked the recording of the content, it was the angel number, and I wrote that shit down. And anyway, before I knew it, I took a bite of the egg roll. I had motherfucking not soy sauce, but sweet and sour sauce dripping on my lip and all type of shit, because I heard footsteps or whatever on the roof of my car, and then there was a black bird that flew on the side mirror, and I filmed that bitch. Now, just because it's a black bird, it don't mean anything. We're not thinking about Alfred Hitchcock or whatever the fuck his name is in that movie The Birds, bitch. We're not getting pecked, our eyeballs and not getting pecked out of our motherfucking skull, bitch. Birds aren't digging in our nostrils and pulling out our tonsils or anything like that. It's not nothing like that. Birds have significant spiritual meaning, and that's how I took it in. I lost my 2 feathered friends. I told y'all that shit. Well, I lost all 4 of them motherfuckers. So this bird landing on the roof of my car while I'm receiving all of these synchronicities via the universe, and allowing me to see it. That is the spirit animal all day long. I am guided by deities and spirit animals and star beings and shit like that. Some of y'all motherfuckers here are guided by teachers and shit like that. I was, until I learned myself, and now I am guided via the universe, and I get my wisdom from the universe. I don't have time to fuck with man. Man get me in trouble. Shit. So the spirit realm was created before all this shit. Why would I go to man for my answers when the spirit realm was here first and created man? What? Okay, anyway. I am back, you guys. I feel 1:14:14 time of this motherfucking recording, angelic time all day long. Y'all have to excuse my French. I'm still working on cursing so much, but until then, y'all going to hear the motherfucking words. I haven't gotten there yet. But there's a lot of things. I entered into Udemy school or college or whatever that is. I really do want to increase my spiritual gifts in regard to my psychic abilities, increasing my clairs, like clairvoyance, clairaudience, sensitive or something like that. I'm already sensitive, bitch. I'm going to increase the sensitivity. I'm going to be able to feel all type of shit all the way across the world, bitch. But anyway, I entered 2 courses. One is mirror work, and the other one is Zen meditation and something else. I do know that one of them damn courses gives you a certificate that is internationally known, so I can use that certificate here and I can use it overseas as well. The other course, I do think is supposed to come with a certificate, and I completed that course. I'm going to do it again, but I have a new approach in regard to how I want to help those addicts out there reach sobriety, and it has nothing to do with fucking with humans. There are invisible forces out there that do a hell of a lot behind the motherfucking scenes. I work with them, so I know. And deities are linked to celebrity success, so figure that one out. And oh my God, there's so much I need to talk to you. I need to go home and go to bed. 1 hour 15 minutes and 55 seconds, the time of this damn recording, bitch. But anyway, I did some digging in regard to my spiritual lineage. Now, y'all know that I'm mixed with a couple of motherfucking things. The first main portion is African, and then the next portion is Scandinavian or European. Back in the days, people was fucking my ancestors. There is no pure race, I'm sorry to say, but people was fucking back in the days. They was raping, they was fucking, they was sucking, they was doing all type of shit, and they was fucking my ancestors. How the fuck did I get 8% Middle Eastern, bitch, and Baltic, and Finnish, and Scandinavian, bitch? They was fucking. Bottom line. But anyway, I did some and Mesoamerican and Andean, bitch. I have all that in my system. Anyway, I wanted to learn where my spiritual side comes from, and I knew it came from the indigenous side of me. And thanks to the book, the 7 type of spirit guide, how to connect with your cosmic helpers. It taught me so much in regard to connecting with the invisible. But anyway, oh my God, y'all know I'm ADHD. I will forget real quick. But anyway, I be trying to make points and I be forgetting. Never mind. Y'all know how ADHD works and it gets on my nerves. But anyway, yes. No. Those courses. But yes, I want to increase my spiritual gifts. Like my intuition. I always deny my intuition, and my intuition gets me in trouble because the ego always wants, the motherfucking ego. But anyway, I don't want to deny my intuition anymore, and I haven't been. And and it's been, yes, baby, I haven't been getting in no motherfucking trouble because I have not been ignoring my intuition. So those are the things that I want to increase. And I'm going to increase. Bitch, I'm going to be able to tell you your whole motherfucking coochie stank from halfway across the world, bitch, because I'm going to increase those abilities. And who's to say your coochie probably do stink halfway across the world? I don't know. I don't care. But once I increase these abilities, I'm going to, yes, I'm going to feel, I'm going to see, but the third eye, I'm going to be doing a lot of motherfucking shit with my psychic abilities. We are animals to a degree, and animals have some extraordinary gifts. So why the fuck why don't we? I'm not afraid to increase mine. I can't say about anybody else, but anyway, this is about to cut anyway because I've been with y'all for a while. Let me see what time it is. It is look 10:44. It is 10:44. I told y'all those synchronicities. When I am in alignment with the universe don't play. She talks to me, and I speak the universe's language. I don't have time to fuck with human beings. I talk to the universe, and I'm not here to tell y'all how to speak her language. Look it up. She don't speak Japanese. She don't speak Vietnamese. She don't speak Laotian. She don't speak motherfucking Mexican. She don't speak none of that shit. She speaks in frequencies, bitch. How about that? Figure out the rest. But I speak the universe's language, and she responds. I told y'all when I was trying to get dick and smoke meth and shit, how she kept cars up on my motherfucking ass to make sure. Yeah, but the universe responds, and there's so much magic within the universe, and people just miss out on it because they're so worldly and they're so wrapped up in bitch, let's go out this week and let's do this and let's do that, and I don't have time for that. Bitch, go out. I don't care. But anyway, I have time to spend with the universe, and let that be the reason. But anyway, I have to go because y'all not paying my bills. But I will check with y'all soon. Like I said, I have a couple of things to uncover in regards to my SD card, etc., and go from there. But anyway, it was a great pleasure coming on the platform and getting some of my truth off of my chest. I really do thank you guys so much for, listening, downloading, engaging, following, all of that shit, and just being there for a bitch when I'm going through times of motherfucking adversity. Is energy such as yourselves that keep myself and my platforms alive and going. Anyway, with that being said, I'm out. Let that be the reason. I'm gonna title this shit and go from there. Let me find my facts. Hold on. All right. So thank you guys so much for joining the platform. Thank you guys for the applause. Thank you. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for joining the platform and listening and engaging. I really do appreciate it. Thank you all once again for having me. Thank you for the claps. Thank you all for having me at a level 2 host at 5,000 and some odd hearts. I thank you guys so much. Thank you for listening to me all across the world, with Arizona being the top listeners, downloaders, and followers, if I'm not mistaken. Thank you guys. Big ups to my hometown, which is not my hometown, but it is my hometown because I lived in this motherfucker for a little over 3 bitch, I lived. Okay, so I'm an Arizonan. Anyway, thank you guys for embracing me, listening to my story, having me in, magazine spreads and continuing to be in the motherfuckers. Thank you guys so much. I really do appreciate it. All right, I'm out. Gotta go. Okay, thanks for the last bit of cheers. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you, boo. All right, you guys, I'm out. Y'all have a good one and namaste.